Okay, today we are going to focus on how to cut your wellness practice admin time by 50%. No joke, 50% while growing the practice without having to hire or recreate the wheel. You are in the right place if you need to consolidate and you're not really sure where to start. If you need simple systems that don't require a doctorate in admin, or if you're looking for time freedom to live life outside of the office. This is not for you if you're going to throw eggs at my face if I suggest a different way of doing things. Or if you really don't have the bandwidth, time, money, bandwidth to make changes, or if you're looking for a quick fix, probably not the right training for you. My promise to you is this: I'll deliver as much value as possible over the next hour. You'll learn from my mistakes, the mistakes that I have made, and the solutions that I've figured out from them. And at the end of this presentation, not before it, I will give you our best offer on the table to get involved with our systems. You'll learn something new and different. I promise you that. In return, here's what I ask for you. Understand that the foundation of Staffless Practice Success System is to honor time, energy, money. Time, energy, money. You're going to hear me talk about those three components of energy exchange for not only you and your experience in practice, but also for your practice members. We've got our thinking cap on for how we can cut corners without dropping details to honor time, energy, money of you, of your practice members, and of your family. Please show up study ready. If you're in the car, if you're driving, if you're having another conversation, just make sure you're on mute. And then I'm also going to ask you to keep your sound off again. Sometimes people forget that they have their sound on during these meetings, and it just can be a distraction. And if I do ask you to participate at any point, please engage in the chat section. So a couple of tips for watching this masterclass. There are all walks that join us on these live trainings. You don't want to have a lot of tabs open. You will have tab overwhelm if that happens. I am going to invite you to do some downloading during this training. I'll drop links in the chat to give you freebies, so make sure that you close the other tabs. We will get to your questions, I promise, and we are going to try to keep it under an hour. Sometimes we go about 10 minutes late. I will give you a heads up if that's happening, and we will also send you the recording. So during this masterclass, here's what you're going to learn. The most common mistakes when streamlining practice systems and how to avoid them, and solutions for saving time and money on practice admin and growth. I think the growth today is the biggest emphasis that people are excited about. How do I grow my practice while honoring time, energy, money? So I'm not going to sell to you. Again, that is not my intention. At the end of this training, I will go all hands on deck and I'll tell you how you can hire me and or my team. But until then, I'm just sharing from my heart. If you stick around to the end, you will get a bunch of bonuses. So you'll see during the training, if you see one of these blue captions with the pink little heart, if you see that, that means a freebie is coming to you. So if you're watching the slides as we go and you see one of those turquoise boxes with the pink present sign, you know something really good is coming up. If we're talking about our program and you see a green present or gift sign, you know that that's a bonus opportunity. We are going to give you guys a copy of 3 of my 4 practice growth and systems trainings books. You're going to get your very own copy of them at the end of the training, so stick around. I'm also going to use the Practice Suite, which is our software platform, as examples of how to teach you guys things. So if we're hopping over to the Practice Suite, you're going to see this look-see button here. So that'll give you some guidance. So here's the deal. I am currently, when we're watching this training, I'm training for a marathon. And I figure I'm in my 51st year, I'm almost 52. If I'm not going to do it now, I'm not going to do it, right? And I could certainly take the time to figure out What do I wear when I'm running? Right now it's cold, it can get hot. What do I wear? What shoes do I wear? What clothes do I wear so I don't get raw skin from running? How do I best support my body with sugar while I'm running? What if I fall? What if I have to go to the bathroom while I'm running? Do I do stretches before the run, during the run, after the run? What music do I? The music is probably the biggest concern. Give me a playlist for when I'm running. By the way, if you're a runner and you got good playlists, send them my way. Do I drink while I run? Do I drink before I run, the day before I run, or the day after I run? And most importantly, I would say, how do I take care of myself while I'm in this marathon training stage? I could absolutely figure it out on my own. I can make the mistakes. I can fall down literally and get back up. Or I can have people in my world who have figured out how to do the marathon thing before me, and they give me their tips. I don't have to figure out what happens if I have to go to the bathroom while I'm running. They say, Jody, take this thing and put it in your pocket and get a pocket that looks like this, or go buy a baby bottle and put it in your jacket pocket. And while you're running, you take one sip from the baby bottle, or here are all of the shortcuts for running a marathon. That's what I'm doing. I'm leaning on the people. Some of the suggestions I don't like, so I pass on. I say, thank you very much, not for me. But a lot of the suggestions I'm running with, literally. So here's what I want for you. I want you to learn about what I have figured out in the past 25 years, you guys, a quarter of a century, in how to run a practice with joy and efficiency front and center. I have fallen down, I have gotten back up, and I have figured out the systems. I'm a mompreneur, I'm an author, and I'm constantly figuring things out to the point where I've literally turned myself an expert mistake maker and solution creator. It's okay to make these mistakes as long as I'm figuring out the solutions too. Here's where I'm at in my current practice. I spend 6 hours a week in my practice. I serve about 60 people, 60 patient visits a week. I spend about 1 hour or less, and usually it's mostly my virtual assistant doing that admin on my practice. I have an entire online school. I've written 4 books, and I've actually just contributed to a 5th, and I've taught thousands of you guys from all over the globe how to run your practice with joy and efficiency front and center. So I've run the marathon in practice. Please take some of the suggestions that I'm giving you today and run with them. So for me, it got really bad. By the way, I'm Dr. Jody Dinnerman. If we haven't met yet, it's really nice to have you here today. And running a practice is my favorite part. I love being in practice. I love chiropractic, but it got to a point where I hated it. And I hated it because 80% of the time I was spending on my office was managing staff. I had a really busy practice. I had a lot of people working for me, and I was miserable. And finally, my last person quit. Let's call her Janet. Janet quit. I didn't want to have to hire again. I went into what you could call a depression. And I remember sitting on the couch. This is the official couch story, you guys. I'm sitting on the couch. It's a snowy afternoon it was the winter of 2019. The pandemic hadn't hit yet. And I'm home, I'm crying, my boys are around. How do you get a humility check? You ask your teenage kids what they really think of you. And they thought it would be funny in that moment to count how many front desk people had quit mom's office that they could remember. When they were up to about 32 people, and again, these are the people that they could remember. They didn't remember my first 10 years in practice because they weren't around. I saw that I had a problem. It was like an alcoholic hitting bottom. I hit bottom with my lack of efficiency and joy in practice, and I promised myself that I was done with it. I knew that if I wanted things to change and I didn't want to have to manage a team anymore, I had to figure out a few things. Like, what are the things that I'm absolutely dependent on a person for? The phone, the schedule for the practice, what to do with the emails, And you guys, I spent hours figuring this stuff out. I kept falling down. I would get back up. I would call this app program and this software program, and I purchased Jane app. Like I got involved with all these different hot solutions that were out, and I figured it out. And I got really good. It took me a few months. I got really good. And if you're following my timeline, I'm in winter of 2019 to spring of 2020. What happened in spring of 20? The world changed overnight, and all of my friends had just lost their staff. Their staff didn't want to come to the office anymore because they were scared to be around people. And my phone started lighting up. Jody, what did you figure out for the phone? Jody, what are you doing for the emails? Jody, what do you do if somebody's asking you about money in front of other people and there's nobody at the desk to answer the questions? And I thought to myself, there's something here. It's time for me to step up and start serving my community, my chiropractors. At that time, I was just working with women in chiropractic, and I founded what's now known as Staffless Practice Academy. I kept saying to my friends, you know what, I'm just going to write it down and send it over to you. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to send it over to you. Here's what I do with the phone. Here's what I do with my schedule. Here's what I do with my fees. Here's what I do with my new patient. Because my friends were freaking out. They had never had a practice without staff before. And truly, their staff didn't want to come to the office. Everything changed. And finally, I saw that I had all this information written down, and I developed my first book, which is Staffless. Our books have gone this specific book, Staffless, has been a bestseller since it's come out on Amazon. And it's basically the notes that I put together while I was creating these systems. So here's the way it looked. 2019, I had my couch breakdown. 2020, I put together the Staffless Practice Success System, and we'll talk about that today. 2020, the summer, this book hit the market, and Staffless Practice Academy. 2022, I was now at 1,000 students, and I had 2 books out, and I was starting to get too busy, and I needed more systems. My practice was doing good. It was the easy part, but this whole Staffless Practice movement, it felt very fragmented. I felt like I had so many screens open at any given time to serve all of you guys. And then we put together this app that's now known as the Practice Suite. And it's all of the software programs. It's the texting, the email, the e-blast, the funnels, the website, the voicemails, all of that stuff in one screen. And here we are today. So I'm going to teach you my favorite parts of this. So these days, this is what it looks like. It feels like I'm at the office when I'm not. So if somebody calls my office right now, it feels like they're getting nurtured in the same way as if somebody was answering the phone. All of my systems are in one screen, one place, one password, one bill. That's the biggest thing. One screen to look at. It's compliant. Everything I'm using is compliant. It's easy if I have somebody on my team and I want them to help me. I want them to take over the admin for a weekend because I want to be off. I don't want to look at anything. It's very easy to pass the baton because, again, it's all on one screen. I don't miss people with the wrong automation. I put the right automation in place. I use things like voicemail drop, and we'll talk about this. I have a feature where if somebody calls my office and nobody answers, that person immediately gets a text back saying, hey, it's Dr. Jody. I don't answer the phone. Texting me is the best way to get a hold of me. How can I help? I'm still in practice. I still show up and serve because I love to, not because I have to. And I have all of this consolidation of social media going too, all through this one umbrella. So even as we sit here, this is a typical shift in my adjusting room. My practice is cared for, my people are calling and being directed, my appointments are being scheduled, and all of my missed calls are being directed and addressed. And that's what I want for you. Imagine this for yourself. Take a minute, take a deep breath, okay? Because I know I'm kind of firing at you right now. If over the past 2 weeks you had some of the systems that I just said, where could you have saved time? Where could you have saved money? And where could you have saved energy? Here comes my first gift to you. I'm going to gift to you our time study. And the time study, and Sheena's going to go ahead and drop in the chat the time study. The time study is an opportunity for you to take a look at how you're currently spending your time in practice and how you could be more efficient. So grab the link that Sheena is dropping in the chat now. And if you can't see the chat, you can go to gostaffless.com/time. And you're going to write down everything you do for 3 days, and then you're going to create a plan for yourself. You will love this exercise. So here we go. Let's go into it. The 3 massive mistakes to avoid when you're trying to streamline your practice systems. The first mistake is to use too many practice systems. We think we need this and we need that, and this would be really cool to have. And what ends up happening is we have all of these memberships and monthly dues and programs that we never access. How many of us, you guys, I signed up for something 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, and I still haven't opened it. I'm guilty of the same thing. So I want to see this rectified. Passwords and bills and tabs to texting and scheduling and website and phone and emails and e-blasts and social posting, faxing and marketing. If we can consolidate and have one program for all of these things, you're going to win. So I did do some math. Sometimes I like to do math. The bills add up. And this is what I would say 6 months ago, this is what my bills looked like, not for my practice because I had already figured that out, for the Staffless Practice program, for us running this company. Texting about $200 a month. My scheduling program, which I still pay Jane at because I love them so much, $100 a month, the best money spent, right? My website, I was paying upwards of $400 a month for. The phone, the email, the e-blast. I can't tell you how good it felt to take the desk phone in my office and literally throw it in the garbage. Actually, we didn't throw it in the garbage. We give it to the kids to play with because they don't know what a desk phone is. So I took the wiring off of it and it's in my toy box in the office. And it's the first thing they go to in the toy box. Give me the phone. I want to play with the phone today. So it was about $1,900 a month that I was spending on the bills for the office for all of the different fragmented pieces. $24,000 a year, you guys. Easy. This is being really modest with these numbers. I'm sure there were other programs that I had signed up for, like Kajabi, right, that I had just forgotten about. So change can be scary. I was scared to death to change this system because I didn't want to mess it up. I didn't want to go into this automation nightmare where messages were coming at me and I didn't know where they were coming from. What if we do it wrong? What if you don't have the bandwidth? What if the practice doesn't accept the changes? These are all of the fears that I hear about. But here's the thing. If we don't make the change, our practice will be stuck. And think about $12,000 a year over the next 5 years. That's $60,000 for software programs and password-based platforms that you might not even be using. Okay, so here's the next piece, because I know at this point in the training, people start to get overwhelmed. I can feel like a little anxiety in the energetic field of our audience. And if you take this exercise that I'm dropping now, it's called our 3 stages exercise. And Sheena, you can drop this in the chat, gostaffless.com/stages. This is how you take a monster project. Like, let's say you're moving your house or you're moving the practice, and you break it down into bite-sized pieces. This is my absolute favorite exercise for doing this kind of thing. So that's the second gift that I'm giving to you today. We are big fans of testimonials. So if you do explore our offerings and you love what we offer as much as I think you're going to, always share your love for what we're doing with us. I would appreciate it. And you'll hear some testimonials throughout this training. These days when I'm off, I take care of my practice messaging all in one place. It's clean and it's simple. And again, I love hearing stuff like this. So let's go into mistake number 2. Automating what shouldn't be automated and not automating what should be. I would say the most common mistake I hear wellness practitioners make specifically chiropractors, is when we have a need at the office, we throw a person at it instead of a system, because we're not used to automating. We're not used to being tech savvy with programs that can save us time, right? So we'll say, oh, we need to hire another person for this. We need to hire another person for that. And out of desperation, we'll hire the wrong person. Expectations will not be met, resentment forms, and it ends up falling apart. So, and I know that this sounds familiar to you if you've been with me for a minute. So automating with ease for ease, phone messages, texting, emailing, practice growth, leads, missed calls, reactivations, tours of the office. You can automate that, you guys. And the most important thing is collecting reviews from people. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into showing you what this looks like on the platform. Let me just go to, okay. So if you guys should be able to now see, oh, you know what, I think, hold on a second, let me stop my share and let me share again. Okay. Okay, you should be able to see a green practice suite, like a software program that's kind of like Outlook, right? So if somebody texts my practice right now, the text is going to show up in my conversations window. It's one place to look. If this person Facebook messages me, sends me a message on Instagram, calls my phone and leaves me a voicemail, it's all going to show up in this conversations window, one place to look for all of the messaging. If this person leaves me a voicemail and says, Dr. Jody, your chiropractic care is changing my life, I can hit this very fancy orange button right here and send them a request to leaving me a review. That's how complicated the system is. One place to look. Okay, I'm going to stop share and I'm going to go back into my presentation. Let's go to, just give me a minute, you guys. Okay, there we go. Cool. Wait, I want to be here. There we go. Okay, so if all of these things are in one window, how much time and energy could that end up saving us? I will say this. There are places where the human connection is necessary. There are opportunities for you to have what I call a knee-to-knee, heart-to-heart conversation with your practice members. This is when automation should not happen. When you're getting feedback about your practice. If Sally starts her care with you and you're not quite sure she's happy with the care, don't automate that feedback. Have a sit down with Sally and say, hey, Sally, how's it going? All right, is everything okay? Am I meeting your expectations? That can be the scariest question to ask, but it's when our learning moments happen. Education, I don't cut corners on education, especially because I'm a philosophically based chiropractor. I want to understand that everybody who leaves my office knows what a subluxation is. I want them to know the principles of chiropractic. So that's the stuff that I'm going to do in person. I want to make promises about my care, like I'm not going to hurt them, I'm not going to take advantage of them, and I want them to make promises back to me, like they won't be late and they'll show up for their appointments. That has to be done in person. I also want to check in with them, as I said earlier. Are you happy? Am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? How can I better serve you, Sally? Right? These are all of the things that have to be done in person. So without the right tools, what ends up happening is we're disconnected from our practice members. And what are people searching for more than anything right now with wellness practitioners? They're looking to connect because so many people are disconnected. If you drop the ball on connecting with your practice members, I'm going to speak for myself. If I drop the ball on connecting with my practice members, it's going to happen. There are going to be moments where I'm like, I don't feel like I really connected with that person today. I'm going to give her a call and make sure that she's good, right? I don't want to leave people feeling overwhelmed. And I certainly don't want to see the stats in my practice dropping. So another testimonial, because I love it. It's great to have a plan in place and real connection with my practice. There is a balance and I feel like I realized it. Awesome. I love hearing it. Mistake number 3, using outdated systems. So here are examples of outdated systems. Using a cell phone for practice use. Unless you're working through an app on your phone that makes things compliant, don't have your patients call your cell phone, guys, okay? Answering every call, feeling like you have to answer every call, you don't. not being compliant about messaging, hiring the wrong people. When you hire the right person for the front desk job or for the billing job or for the patient education job, you hit a home run every time. When you hire the wrong person, everybody's miserable. Hiring when it's not necessary and listening to people who are not succeeding. There are plenty of people out there wearing the coach's hat and they're not in practice. They're not crushing it in practice. Please listen to people who are walking the talk. Okay. One more testimonial. I've taken over my mom's practice. This happens a lot. We'll have millennials or even now people who are younger starting in practice, taking over an older person like myself, taking over our practice, and they want to update the systems. And to say it's old school is an understatement. I'm so happy to have clear directions to bring this amazing practice up to speed. Because us old timers, we have really great systems. They're just not optimized. They're not for 2025. They're for 1992. So here comes another gift for you guys. It's really important that we know who our perfect practice member is. Please spend some time, if you haven't already done this, and take pen to paper and write out who this person is. This is probably the top tearjerker. And Sheena, this is the next gift for the chat. This is the top tearjerker of all of the lessons in Staffless Practice Academy because it's really going to push you to think outside the box. Who is your perfect practice member? Go to gostaffless.com/PPM1 for perfect practice member 1. There are 2 parts to it, part 1 and part 2. Why am I giving you all of this stuff for free? Because I want you to be better. Because if I know that if you're better, you're going to serve better care and the world is going to get healthier. And that's the kind of world I want my grandkids growing up in. Okay, so let's go into it. Here, I'm going to give you the number 1 tool and the number 2 tool. I think I'm even giving you 3 tools in this training. How to cut your admin time in half and implement it immediately. So I want you to remember one thing, especially if you're over the age of 40 while you're listening to this training. The practice member of 2025 is much different than the practice member of 2019. Who's much different than the practice member of 2000, who's much, much more different, right, than the practice member of 1995. This person, I'm just one thing on her very long list of what she needs to do today. I'm just the chiropractor, you guys. I'm not the center of her universe, right? Even though I may be, or my practice may be the center of my universe, I'm just a thing that needs to be checked off. Get the kids adjusted. Check mark is done, right? So we want to make it as easy as possible for this person. I was speaking last night. I think it was a conversation with my husband, and we were talking about how, we were watching a show from like 1860s, 1870s. Like it was like a flashback horse and buggy kind of show, right? And I was saying it's amazing how they don't even have a phone to use. And they're still connecting with people and they're working with their hands, and trade is important, much different than what we have in 2025. People do not want to pick up the phone and call to make an appointment at their physical therapist's office. They want to text you because it takes 3 seconds. The phone call takes 3 minutes. Do you get it? Even if you want the phone call, I'm telling you right now, they don't. Unless you're in a, there are always exceptions. There are always communities who don't use phones, like the Amish community. They're not going to text you, obviously. Our seniors, some of them don't like to use technology yet, but most people outside of those exceptions, they want to text you. They don't want to have a phone call with Barb at the front desk to hear about how it's a great day at your office. They just don't want to hear it because you're the thing on the list. You're one of the things on the list. Okay, with that being said, our top tool, which is really the center focus of the book Staffless, is called the voicemail message funnel. And the voicemail message funnel looks something like, here's your next gift, guys. This is actually probably the biggest gift I'm going to give you today. If you text the letters VMF, V like Victor, M like Mary, F like Frank, VMF to 908-224-6685. Again, text the letters VMF, and Sheena, if you can throw this in the chat, 908-224-6685. What's going to happen is you're going to see an automation in my practice suite kick in, and you're going to get a guide to what I'm about to go over with you. You might even get a voicemail. You might even get an email. Let's see what happens. Again, VMF to 908-224-6685. Okay, so for the voicemail message funnel, the goal is no more phone calls. Again, I got rid of my phone. I got rid of internet in my office. I just show up with my iPad that's on my data plan. I can access Jane app and I can access the practice suite. No more stories, no more phone, no more wasted time. Cater to your practice members. Be mindful of the exceptions to the rule. So it's going to sound something like this. Actually, let me go here. You're going to start with a call study. And in the guide that you're going to get by texting that number, again, it's 908-224-6685. In that guide, I'm going to go through these steps in detail. You're going to do a call study for a few days. You're going to look at who's calling your office. You're going to give it one word about what they're calling for. Most people in a wellness practice are calling you to either schedule their first appointment with you, get some kind of admin need taken care of, like a super bill or changing their appointment time, or it's a spam caller. So you're going to create a solution for each type of callers. You're going to create a script. You're going to put a script together and you're going to record and implement it. The script is going to sound something like this. Are you ready? You've reached Lightsource Chiropractic, serving whole family care since 2000. This is Dr. Jody Dinnerman, and I can't wait to serve you. The best way to get the help you're looking for is text this number now. Please note we will automatically start texting a conversation with you in the next couple of minutes as long as you're calling from a cell phone. If you're a current practice member with an admin or scheduling need, please hang up and text us now. If you're a new practice member looking to get on our schedule with us, great move. We can't wait to take care of you. Check out our website at lightsourcechiropractic.com. All other callers are welcome to leave a voicemail here, but please note we only check these messages once a week. And the best way to get the help that you're looking for is to text this number. We'll start a texting conversation with you in the next couple of minutes. Thanks so much for your call and make today excellent. So what do you notice there? You notice that I repeat myself a couple of times because most people aren't listening to the message. They're driving and they're eating their lunch and they're dealing with their kids fighting in the back seat and they're stopping at the red light and they're thinking about the 10 next things that they have to do because all they're doing is calling the chiropractor, right? So I'm going to repeat the important things twice. That's really important. Again, I'm giving you a breakdown step by step of how to do this system on your own as long as you text me VMF. Okay, so I want you to have solutions for each type of caller. You're going to have a texting solution. You're going to have an email solution. You're going to have a website solution. You're going to have a messaging solution. You're going to have social media solutions because you might want to say, go ahead and visit our Facebook group to get whatever you're looking for. You can do all kinds of cool things with the voicemail message funnel. Just make sure whatever solution you're sending them to, it's really clean and it's really clear how they can get the help that they're looking for. Okay. Right now with the practice suite, we give you a free website. We want your website to be clean. We don't want there to be things flying off the pages. We want before one scroll for them to see where to click to book an appointment with you. I'm telling you 90%, probably 95% of the people going to your website are new practice members looking to book an appointment with you. If they have to scroll more than once to find where to click to book the appointment, they're going to jump off to a new website. I promise you that's true. They also want to see a way to start a conversation with somebody. That's called a chat widget. That comes with a practice suite. Okay, so let's keep going. If they call and you don't want to answer, because some of them will call. My practice members don't call me anymore because they know not to. They know I'm not going to answer the phone. They text me and somebody gets back to them within 2 minutes, right? If they do call, make sure you have a way to automatically text them back without your time, energy, money being involved. A missed call text back is a way to do that. If you call the number that I just dropped on that screen, the 908-224-6685, you're immediately going to get a text back as long as you called from a cell phone. That's called a missed call text back. If you don't have that feature in place, that feature alone will save you so much time and money. And what are we here to do? To protect, honor, and take care of time, energy, money. Okay, make sure you got the missed call text back. Make sure that be really careful with automation with texting because it can become really cheesy. Like if you're texting people with a recall program, which we're going to go into in a couple minutes, and you just saw them in the supermarket 2 days ago, you're just dropping the personal connection. So be careful with it. Only use workflows or automations when they're really necessary. A missed call text back is a good example of an automation to always have on because it will never go wrong. Right? If you're doing emails, make sure they're branded, make sure they're HIPAA compliant, make sure that your splash of color is everywhere that they look. Some people are, everybody is, and I'm just going off on a little sidekick here. People are, they're inspired by different senses depending on the way that they grew up. Some people would even argue it's in their DNA. Some people see something and get triggered. Some people smell something and get triggered. Some people hear, some people taste their way through the world, right? So if you have a quarter of your practice and their experience is through the sense of sight, they want to see repetition with your brand. If you close your eyes right now, go ahead and try it. Close your eyes. And I say to you, what color comes to mind when you think of Staffless Practice? Most of you are going to say this bright pink, right? That pink is my F137A9. That is my number one color. It's the color of my sweater. It's the color of my phone. It's the color on all of my books. It's the background color of these slides. Because if you're the person who's dictated by the sense of sight, I want to connect with you without connecting with you. Does that make sense to you guys? So if I have this theme in my office, sense of smell, let's go to that. I want it to smell lovely. I want people to say there's something about that office that just feels like home, if they're the kind of person that's dictated by the sense of smell. Okay, I got off on a little tangent. I warned you guys that I would. Here's another gift coming to you. So one of the things that I really enjoy doing with our visitors is taking a look at what they're currently doing with their website. The website is like the number one place that you can screw up, you guys. If you've got overwhelm or misspelling or typos or formatting issues, or you don't have a place to start a conversation, or people aren't finding your website when they search for chiropractors on Main Street in Illinois, whatever, right? You want to make sure that you clean that stuff up. We will do a free audit with you of your website. We'll send you a report. We'll go over how the practice suite could be a solution for you. And Sheena, if you could drop this link in the chat, that would be great. Okay, and please know that if you do a website audit with me, I am going to criticize you. Be open to that criticism. It's not personal. I'm trying to make you better. Per Dr. Jody's lead, I got rid of my office phone. My patients are directed when they go to voicemail, and I'm saving so much time. It's so nice to be learning from a program that actually fulfills on their initial promise. We get that a lot because there are a lot of programs out there that don't fulfill on their initial promise, and my team doesn't sleep at night if we're not doing a good job for you. So I'm going to go into the second tool of cutting admin and winning in practice. Can you guess what it is? So we just had a conversation that it was very hot in the JNAP community on the recall program. And the recall program looks something like this. Oh, Sheena, you can drop gostaffless.com/recall so that you guys can walk through this on your own for your own practice. The recall program looks something like this, and please follow my lead. This is a part where you want to take notes. You're going to pull a list from, if you're a JNAP user, it's unscheduled patients, I think. If you're in a different EHR program, whatever EHR program it is, sometimes I'll go into Calendly and I'll look at my last 6 months of one-on-one calls that I've done, and that's another recall list that I can come up with. I get them all into a CSV. If you're a JNAP user, you can download the CSV. I personally connect with each name to see if it's somebody I saw in the supermarket 2 days ago. If it is, I take them off because I've probably already had a conversation about how much I miss serving them in chiropractic. And there I have my list. I take that list, I upload it into my practice suite. I give them a tag, recalls 2025, whatever it is, right? And then I send them a text, and I'm going to tell you what the text is going to say in a minute. I send them a text. I'll get back a bunch of text messages in over the next 20 minutes, and then I'll either schedule them or I'll put them back into a nurturing sequence, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So the message is going to sound something like this. Do I have this here? Let me look. I don't. The message is going to sound something like this. Hey, it's Dr. Jody. I miss serving you. All okay? Question mark. So I'm going to throw a question out there to let them know that I'm concerned. All okay. I'm not saying, hi, it's Jody, and I'm worried about your headaches, and you haven't been to your chiropractor in 3 months and 2 days. No. Hey, it's Dr. Jody. All okay? Question mark. Haven't seen you in a minute. Text back a 1 to get on the schedule this week or this month, whatever your bandwidth is. If you're already really busy, say this month instead of this week. And you guys, hear me say this right now, your practice is going to get really busy if you do this. Text back a 1 to get on the schedule this week, a 2 to continue a break from care, and they're going to be on pause, or a 3 to be removed from this list. If they give you a 3, they don't want to come to you anymore. Do not take it personally. It's not about you, I hope. Right? So if it's a 1 or a 2, they're still an active practice member. A 1, they're saying they want to get back on the schedule. So the next step would be to reply to their text message and drop them the scheduling link. In JNAP, you know where to get the scheduling link. In any other EHR program you have, if you don't have a scheduling link for people to schedule on their own, make the switch to Jane now. Like, hurry, run, go now. And then if it's a 3, Godspeed, buddy. I get it. I know that I'm good at what I do. My care might not be a match for what you need right now. So that's the recall program. The third thing I'm going to put in your brain and in your heart is our lead pilot system. And this system, especially if you've been around the block for a minute, if you've been in practice for 20, 25 years, you might have pushback on this, and that's cool. Throw the spaghetti at the wall, and if it sticks, cool. If it doesn't, that's okay. Go to the rice. Okay? So it's going to look something like this. Your person, your lead, gets your information through either a QR code. Let me use my fancy little marker here. We're looking at this right here, right, guys? So they either find you through a QR code, maybe they got an email, maybe they got an ad about you, maybe they landed on your website through a Google search, or maybe somebody referred you to them because you're just the best thing ever. They go into what we call a VSL. A VSL is a video sales letter, and I'll show you this in a minute. I am going to actually go into a VSL. It's a video, it's a one-page website with a video on top of, hi, I'm Dr. Jody. This is why chiropractic rocks, and this is what I do differently. I do that for 3 minutes in a video. And then I think, what is my perfect practice member? And this is where that comes into play, knowing who your person is. What is their yeah but going to be? Hi, I'm Dr. Jody. I'm a great chiropractor. This is what makes me special. They're going to say to them, yeah, but I'm going to have to come forever. Yeah, but it's going to cost a lot of money. Yeah, but you're going to hurt me. These are the things that my perfect practice member thinks to herself. So then underneath that video, there's a second video that's a minute long that says, you probably think I'm going to hurt you. Then there's another video that's 1 minute long. You're probably worried you're going to have to come forever. Get into their brains, you guys. And so that when they see you, when they experience you, it's as if you've already thought of it for them because you have. So that's the VSL. So wherever they hear about you, they're going to land on the VSL. Before all of this happens, let's back the bus up for a minute. You're going to create, and this is just a suggestion to you, you're going to create a 10-minute visit type. And this 10-minute visit type is called a lead pilot visit. It's either a telehealth or a phone call. If you've been in the marketing world for a minute, this is a triage session, right? It's not a strategy call. It's just a triage session. Let me take a listen to what you've got going on, Allison or Joel or Bob. Tell me what you got going on. Let's see if I can help. And if I can, we'll go ahead and book you for an initial consultation. This is a free 10-minute telehealth session. Okay. I like telehealth because I like to be able to see people. You can absolutely do this in a phone call. You can absolutely have a team member do this for you. And the team member is just listening, because who listens anymore? Bob, tell me what you got going on. Let's make sure I'm the right person to serve you. If I am the right person, we'll go ahead and schedule an initial consultation with you. That's when they enter my EHR program. But this visit is all done in my practice suite because it's all automated. The only thing I have to do with my time, energy, money is show up for 10 minutes and I'll block this off. I'll do like an hour on Saturday afternoons and an hour on Wednesday evenings. And I'll do boop, 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 10 telehealth sessions all at once if my practice is that busy. Right. And then once they come into the office and they're in Jane app, then they're an official practice member. Let's say they say no to visit one. Let's say it's not a match and you learn that from the telehealth session. You've just protected their time, energy, money, and your time, energy, money. Then they can go back into a nurturing sequence. The nurturing sequence is, it's going to look like 52 weeks of emails, nurturing them on why what you do is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay, that's the big picture of the lead pilot system. This all comes put together for you in your practice suite. Okay, I do want to take a look at this with you guys. I think it's worth it. Sheena, can you see the practice suite on your screen? Okay, cool. So I'm going to go into, here's a demo of that lead pilot. So it's the call out, like you might be looking for wellness care and a new chiropractor. That would be the call out, right? And then my tagline, gentle care for the whole family since 2000. Here's my video one. You see how clean this is, you guys? There's nothing flying off the page. It's very simple. Here's my lead pilot detour is what we call this, my video one, my video two, my video three, and we put this together for you when you get a practice suite. Here are all of our testimonials. Right? You want to have a lot of testimonials on this page. And here's where they book their lead pilot visit. That's a lead pilot landing page. I want to show you a couple more things while we're here. A sample website. So when you get a practice suite, we either build you a one-page site, which I'm about to show you, or we'll take 3 pages of your current site if you love it, and we'll copy it over so that you only have to pay $29 a month for your website. We do charge $29 a month for a hosting fee. This is what a one-page site looks for. If you're starting from scratch or you just hate your website, we're going to build you something that looks like this. And if you're like, Jody, I like that, but I want all these things too, we'll build you this. This is included in the practice suite, but we'll charge you $1 a minute to build the additional pages. Okay, I wanted to show you that. And then I think, oh, let me show you this. So when it comes to what we're addressing with a healthy marketing practice, honoring time, energy, and money, it's going to look something like this. And whether you're using a practice suite or some other system out there, it's all good. Make sure it includes the following, okay? Lead capture. You want to have nice looking ads that represent your brand, whether they're free ads or paid for ads. You want your website to be clean. You want your emails to be compliant and branded. You want to have at least one QR code. You get a QR code with your practice suite. You want something to happen when people call you without your time being touched. The same thing for texting. Okay. When they get their first response from a lead, the first time they reach out to touch someone, you want a way to chat with them, whether they're on the website or they're texting you. You want to have a confirmation that you got their email. You want an SMS auto reply in place if that's something that you want to use. You definitely want to have a missed call text back. Appointment management. You want a way to confirm their first appointment. You want to remind them of their appointments. You want to set up an easy way for them to reschedule without feeling like an ass if they can't make the appointment. And you definitely want to protect your time, energy, money for no-shows. That's a big deal breaker in my office. Do not waste my time, right? So I have heavy boundaries around no-shows. Post-visit engagement, you want to get feedback requests, which is going to be, I already showed you guys, hold on. I love having one button to click to ask for a review. If this person leaves my office and says, that was a really great experience, I just click the orange button and they get a review request. If their review is anything less than awesome, it comes back to me. It doesn't go to Google reviews. So I want you to have that in place, whether it's through the suite or another system. ongoing communication, newsletters, educational courses, special offers, blogs, right? And then engagement tools like SMS, email, social media posting, courses, phone calls, voicemail drops. So if you guys already texted me VMF, you probably already received what's called a voicemail drop, where it looks like I called, but I didn't. If you're doing a recall program for your practice or a reactivation, you can make the voicemail drop part of what you do. So I might send that text out that I went over with you, but I might also drop a voicemail on their phone that says, hey, it's Dr. Jody. I'm just checking in on you. Is everything okay? I'm sending you a text now. And they'll look at their phone and they'll see that they missed a call and that there's a voicemail waiting for them, but I didn't actually call them. My time does not get touched with the whole thing. Okay, let me go back to my training. We're just about at the end, and here's what I want to say to you. If you take one thing away from today, I want you to know that you really can do this. You can streamline your practice efforts without wasting time and money on things that don't work. Don't waste time and money on things that don't work. Make sure you're using programs for people who are using them in their private practice. If it's something that you're leaning on, like if you go to the Jane App team, I love using them as an example because they're just such a stand-up company. A lot of the people who are ambassadors for their product are using their product in their practices. It's so important. We're out there pounding pavement using these tools. That's really important. So I've developed a system to plug and play. I've shown you the practice suite into a lovely, compliant, easy to use platform. I will go into a little bit more detail about the platform. I do want to first go over the Staffless Practice Success System real quick, a couple minutes. So people will knock on my virtual door and they'll say, Jody, it's time for me to scale my practice and hire a team. And the first thing I'm going to say to them, you'll see here, these are the 12 steps of the Staffless Practice Success System. The first step is to prepare with your core values, your mission, your vision, your perfect practice member. The next is looking at your physical space to make sure it's optimized for efficiency. The next is to balance your time with the time map that I shared with you guys. The next is a texting program, a phone system, an email system, all protecting your what? Your time, energy, money. The next is organizing yourself. The next is what do you do on visit 1, on visit 2, on visit 12, your new client system. The next is growing from inside and then growing from outside and then growing online and then hiring, which is what we call the WISE Council. If you come to me and you say, I want to grow my practice and I want to start hiring people, I'm going to ask you about your first 10 steps. Most people come to our world and they need to start with steps 1 through 6 because they need to get their shediggles together. They're not together yet. And we've got programs just focused on steps 1 through 6. If you already have a lot of this in place, maybe you just need a couple of the pieces, then I can start you in scale. That's our second program. That's our bigger program. And we can look at how do we create an online course? How do we grow in our community? How do we hire a team or get our current team to really show up and do what they're best at, right? So this is how we build our programs with our clients. This is the point of the presentation that I'm going to tell you about the programs that we offer. If you stay till the end of this, I'm going to give you a copy of our free books. If you have no intention of hiring me and or my team, go enjoy the rest of your day, make the world better with great care, and I hope you loved your experience with me today. So we have options that include a practice suite, which I've shown you around the practice suite a couple times now. And then we have programs that don't include a practice suite, and I want to go into them. So let's go here. If you say to me, Jody, I don't really want an all-in-one program. What I really want to do is I want to experience the tools, the first 6 steps of the Staffless Practice Success System. Give them to me, leave me alone. I'll let you know if I need help. That's our instant access program. If you say, I really want you to coach me, I want your team to coach me through the first 6 steps, but I don't really need a practice suite, that's our Spa Try program. If you say to me, I've got a lot of the first 6 steps, I need the next 6, that's our Scale program. All of those have the option of joining us with a practice suite or without a practice suite. Those are our coaching programs. Where you start in our world is you start by either booking time with me And Sheena, you can drop the link for a demo. Start with booking time with me, or just jump into a practice suite if you know this is for you. If you know a practice suite is for you, how much is it? That's the question that comes up. We start the practice suite at $47. It's $47 for you to get into a suite, for us to grab all of your information, build your suite for you. We do all of the heavy lifting. And then it's either $4.95 a month if you want our business school that comes with it, and our group coaching every week. If you don't need any of that stuff, if you've got the last 6 steps of the system down, you're good with that, you just needed the first 6, then you can drop down to our light program, which is $2.95 a month. So that's the practice suite. You can get into that by thepracticesuite.com, and Sheena, you can drop that link in the chat now. I will also say that right now we're including that free website with your practice suite. You do need to have a pro suite in order for us to hold the website for you, for us to host it for you. We'll also do your contact import for you. We'll grab all of your contacts. We'll put them in a suite in a HIPAA compliant way. I do want to show you guys this. So when you get into the suite, there are a bunch of courses waiting for you. The first course I want to point out is our business school. And our business school has courses on how to grow your practice using the suite. We've got courses on how to do the VSL that I showed you, how to do funnels, how to grow with social media, how to create an online course, how to create a program for your practice members to continue their education, and on and on and on. We also have a Start Here program where we collect your information and we show you how to use this suite gradually. We don't throw you into it and blindfold you and expect you to know the way. We really want you to use these tools, and we're constantly simplifying and simplifying and simplifying. And again, the place that you want to start is you want to go over to, let me go back to this screen. You want to go to thepracticesuite.com to grab a suite. If you want to start with a call with me, you can go to the link that Sheena will drop it in the chat again now for a demo. And if you have no interest in a suite, but you're in the demo call, we can just connect and chit chat and figure out what program is right for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just continue my share here while I take a peek at the questions. Let me stop share and let me go back here. It's a lot to maneuver, you guys, all of the sharing. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go here. Okay. Sticker price is, again, $47 to get started. It's $4.95 a month for the Pro Suite. And then this is where you go. And let me take a peek at the questions that came in. The first question that we always get is, does this replace my EHR program like JNAP? No, this is in addition to your EHR program. The lead pilot system that I showed you guys, you're going to do your scheduling in the practice suite for that one visit type, but then you're going to move your practice members over to your EHR program, hopefully JNAP. What does it cost after the first month? It's $4.95 a month for your Pro Suite, and again, that's going to cover your website, your phone if you no longer want to have a land phone, your texting solution, your e-blasting solution, your fax solution, your social media posting solution, and your business school. It's also going to give you a chat widget. Yes, it's going to give you a chat widget, and it's going to give you the missed call text back. How much are your private coaching programs? So our private coaching programs are, they start at $1,800. They go all the way up to $22,000. It really depends on what you and your team need. And that's what our demo call is for. Let's jump on, let's spend time together, and I'll place you in the right program. There are people who get on that call with me and I say, what we do isn't really a fit for what you're looking for. I promise to be transparent. I do not want you in our coaching world if it's not a fit for you. And I will know within the first 5 minutes, I promise. Okay, I'm going to stop recording now, and I hope that you really enjoyed everything that I shared today, and we'll talk soon. Okay, you guys, if you're in with me